Okay, guys, this is the finally last I will do anything with the 20250 on the 193 head. By special request, we had multiple guys asking to fill the short side radius. Well, I don't know if you can see my writing, but that says 0.7 inch. So that's how tall our short side radius was before I filled it. I filled it to 1 inch. Why did I pick 1 inch? 1 inch is about what it is on a bow tie head, give or take. In any case, first thing we can notice is it doesn't look bad, but it definitely is a little thicker on the chamber, and it is definitely thinner and narrower in the bowl than we saw last time. Last time we had a nice spread, and I should say that I did flow this with the head bolt in, which is a nice change. Okay, we have a much narrower spread on our valve. Let's take a look at the bore. Okay, our bore is a mess. You have to remember the air is coming up and around that short side. I did this at 500 lift. 500 was just before it started to separate. We do have some decent numbers at 500, but after that it goes downhill, and it goes downhill quick because the short side is harder for the air to get around. So it starts to window at that point. So the air is not going around the short side anymore. It is going straight across the bowl. Okay, we got a pretty darn straight line in that bowl at this point. Seems to be hard to get that. I don't know why it's so hard to get that view. Oh, I know why it's so hard to get the view, because the short side is so much taller now. It's hard for me to get the angle and see right up into the chamber. Okay, you have to cut me some slack, guys. You know, the IQ is down to, low. Alrighty. Looks actually quite good at this angle. You can see it on the side of that bowl coming around. It's just not nearly as wide. So it's narrower, which makes it cause a problem when it hits the bore. Okay, I took quite a few minutes and gave that a pretty darn nice shape. And what I was trying to do is, because our airspeed across the short side was quite good, I tried to keep that very even across, and came out pretty damn good as far as airspeeds. I'm pretty happy with the way that looks. Okay, tough to get decent lighting on it. You can see I did a pretty good job as far as getting it in there and giving it a nice radius up. You can see a couple little dents on top where the pitot was laying in order for me to get my air speeds. It all worked out quite well, and it basically did what I said it was going to do, which you could look back in another older video, and I said exactly what it would do as far as our flow numbers. Okay, this was 18. That is 19. Clay SSR from 0.7 inch to 1 inch. All right, well, how'd we do? Minus, minus, minus equals, plus, minus, 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 1 plus, all the way down here with a P, which means it's already pulsating, which means it's taking big gulps of air across the short side, separating and then reattaching. After that, it loses it over the short side and is noisy. Okay, the taller the short side, the harder it is to get your high lift numbers. Okay, it's got a harder time turning around that corner. So she starts to window. This is about it. 500. After 500, she starts to go across. That's why we have the liquid the way we do in that bore. Okay, so as far as this is concerned, versus our last one, it's a loser. End of story. How'd we do on Swirl? Minus, minus, plus, 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 minus, minus. Okay, after you lose it on the short side, then she starts to spin a little bit differently, okay? Alrighty, let's take a look and see what our airspeeds did. Okay, so on 18 at 500 with 262.3, 259.3. So it's a little, it flows a little bit less. We're going to compare these numbers to these numbers. Okay, our short side's over here. Let's do our pinch. Plus, plus, minus. Notice how it died on the bottom because it's not pulling as hard from the bottom because that short side radius is filled now. But the roof came alive. Okay, big difference on the roof speed. The roof and the middle both came alive. She died on the bottom. Okay, what happened as far as our roof speeds? Well, you have to remember the short side gives it a lot less area at that point, so it has to increase the speed. It pushes the air up to the roof, plus plus. And our ramp went up quite a bit. Okay? And like I said, it's hard to get an exact measurement on that, so I try to hold the pitot in the exact same position I did for the last one. So we can just compare them. And as far as our short side, because it's taller and it's just before it separates, it's going to be fast. Fast, fast, fast. Okay? What do we have to say about that? Well, since it's basically a loser on flow, you have to remember it is a little bit smaller port. Let me grab that clay and make it into a ball. That way you guys can calculate exactly how many cc's we lost. Okay, our bowl is 0.789 diameter. So you guys can figure out how many cc's that is. Taking a quick look at it. Between 2 and 3 cc's, I'm going to guess. But that doesn't mean anything. My opinion means nothing. Okay, just a quick check on the bowl ratio, the rote ratio on the intake bowl, 88.5%. Okay, so in reality, we probably could go a little bit bigger on our bowl ratio at the 202, but we're not. I think we're going to be done with this. What was our best we did with this 202? All right, the best we really did was about 267, 264 at 600 lift on this port. Is that great? Probably not. Remember, it was 213.5 cc's before I knocked out the bolt boss, and then I moved over the ramp side quite a bit in order to put a curve on it. Somebody called it a J curve, which really is kind of what it is. In reality, I probably could put some more into that if I wanted to. That wall is still thick, as you can tell by our. You can see I borrowed some clay out of this, but look at how far over we moved that wall on our straight port. It's just there's tons of metal on that wall. But there isn't tons of metal on this side. This side's relatively thin. Yeah, we could probably open it up some more. We went to a 2.1 inch valve. Pushing our luck a little bit right in here was a little tight. Now this may be a little bit different as far as this cylinder itself. We can check that out. But I think I'm going to cut this for a 2055 and see where we are. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good night.